Here's why Facebook ads don't work for your church. Okay, you probably feel it's a waste of time. You tried it before, it's not for you. But what ends up happening is blaming Facebook ads for not working for your church is often like people blaming a hammer for hitting their thumb. Okay, it's really not the tool's fault. It's how you probably set it up, and that sounds like I'm blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm really blaming the person who told you to try Facebook ads and didn't actually tell you what to do. Okay, I'm not going to hand a drill to my son and say go put a hole in the wall without actually showing him how do you find the stud and what kind of screw do you use and how do you actually set the right torque on the drill. How do you hold your hand? By the way, it wasn't until I was 19 or 20 when I learned how to actually hold a drill. And that's no fault of my dad. He thought I was going to be a musician, so he didn't want me working with my hands to not break them and ruin my life. So I didn't actually learn how to use a drill because no one actually showed me how to do it. And that's, again, no fault, no blame to my dad. He had his, I think, very good and honorable reasons for not showing me how to properly use a drill. But I didn't realize it. Now that I know how to use a drill, I can drill things all around the house. I love it. Almost to a fault, if you ask my wife. So it's not your fault that you didn't set up the Facebook ads right. It's not your fault you didn't hire the right person or get the right volunteer to run the Facebook ads because no one showed you what was happening. So if Facebook ads haven't worked for you, if you think they don't work for your church, if you think they have no business belonging in the church, it's probably the way you think it should be used or the way you think it's used and not what's actually going to work. And honestly, I blame the other gurus. I hate people calling me a guru. I'm not a guru. I'm barely an expert, okay? I'm on this journey, same as you. But I blame the other gurus because what they're doing is they're telling you to go do this and they're not telling you how because they know you're going to fail. And then they know, well, someone's going to pay me because they tried it themselves and they never told you the right way. Look, I'm here to share with you the right way. I will always be upfront and truthful with you in what's working for us because I know God's going to provide us with business. That's not my problem. I'm here to see 1 million churches become the cornerstone of their community. And to do that, Facebook ads is a really church budget friendly way. So if they haven't worked for you, let's go into why. Okay. And again, a lot of gurus will not go into why Facebook ads aren't working for your church. They're just going to go into a sales pitch. That's not what I'm here for. Okay. So, look, number one, and Pastor, I say this all the time with the most love I can out of my heart. You're a great speaker. You're a great orator. You're a great counselor. You're a great shepherd. You're probably not a great ad writer, copywriter, image creator, whatever you want to call it. This has to do more with the format of the ad. And I'm not talking about headline, text, call to action. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about your ad was probably not relatable, which, by the way, think about the ad that you ran. Okay. Because if you just invited someone to church, you probably wouldn't just walk up to someone in the grocery store and blindly invite them to church. Okay. There's no need there. There's no pain there. There's no hurt there. There's no necessity there. There's no relationship there, which means if you tried ads before and it didn't work, chances are, especially for churches, it wasn't relatable. Okay. We keep saying we need to meet people where they are. But when it comes to Facebook ads, what I see from churches is come to where we are. Hey, aren't we so great? Come join us. Because you're a sinner and what like there needs to be some kind of addressing of understanding and empathy where people are and how your church is in the position to introduce them to relief, hope, purpose. In the context of church, you're introducing them to Jesus. We're never, ever, ever going to run ads where we promote the church as the answer. Jesus is the answer. The church is the context in which it happens. Okay, so you're probably not being relatable. If your Facebook ads are not working for your church, it may be because it's not relatable, meaning you're not giving me any reason why I should care. You're just telling me this information. Okay, it's the same reason why I met with my gym this morning. I do marketing for them, freelance, in exchange for the gym membership. And we're talking about this new program they want to run. It's a great program. And I keep asking them, why should anyone care? And they keep telling me, oh, it's only $7. No one's walking around wanting to spend $7. They're walking around wanting to lose weight, wanting to look better for their spouse, wanting to attract their spouse possibly, right? Like we have to really key into why people would want to take this program. And then we get to tell them, hey, it's only $7, right? So why would someone care about your church? Why would they want to know about your church? And again, you have to come to that table, I guess. You got to come to the table from their side of the door. Man, I'm confusing two illustrations here. You have to come to that ad from the perspective of a lost person, meaning you can't just say come to church because it's important. Only really Christians understand why church is important, and even a lot of them don't. Okay, so really, what context does Jesus provide to people's lives in the context of church? Okay, and use that to create a relatable ad. So we're going to talk about like the do's, but for example, instead of saying come to church for great worship music, instead a relatable ad might mean, do you feel disconnected, lonely, like you're wandering around without a purpose? It may be because no one's actually shared the correct purpose for you, and we're talking about that this Sunday. We want you to come, we want you to belong, we want you to feel like you did in school when you actually had friends, and let's figure out what this life thing means together, right? Something like that, I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, but something like that will help you reach people where they are, and not appear holier than thou, not talk down to them, but come alongside them and say, join me on this journey. The other thing is you don't ask for a next step. And this is where a lot of churches get scary. They feel icky, okay? But if you just tell someone about Jesus and not invite them into a relationship and not invite them to follow and not invite them to surrender, not invite them to take a next step with Jesus, you're not evangelizing, you're not sharing the gospel, you're just telling people about Jesus, okay? That's why Jesus is often looked at more as a historical figure than a savior and redeemer, because we're just telling people about Jesus. We're not inviting them into a relationship. Now, I'm not saying do an altar call there in the Facebook ad, but if you're going to interrupt someone's day, give them something to do. Many church ads that I see that don't work because you're just telling people something. If you just tell someone something, they're going to forget it by the time they see the next cat video, or by the time they see the next person that has cancer on their Facebook feed, or worse, by the time they see that half-naked woman, right? They're going to totally forget about it. But if you can get them interested, if you can get their attention, get them interested, and get them to decide that church is maybe the next thing they should do, you got to get them to take an action. You got to get them to say, all right, I'm going to check this church out. Okay, whether that's send me a message, go look at the church page to plan a visit. I don't really like plan a visit that much, but hey, go look at here, send us a message, see what's available for kids, get them to do something. You got to get them to take a baby step. And if your church ad's not working, it may be because you're just telling people about your church and not inviting them to take a next step along that journey. And the other one is you might not have set it up properly. This happens a lot with churches that see a lot of money being spent on their Facebook ad, but see no one coming into the door. You might have had the area wrong. You might have had the demographic wrong, meaning you were targeting people that are not in your area or not able to come to your church, okay? The positioning may have been wrong. You spent a lot of money on sidebar ads or reel ads, like Instagram Reels ads, even though you're running a picture. Hey, they'll spend your money and put those ads in places it's probably not going to work. So you didn't have the right positioning. You didn't have the right spending, right? Someone said you can get 100 views for 7 cents. All right, well, let me put $1 on it. And you only got a couple dozen views because no one told you how to actually spend the money on Facebook to where Facebook is happy showing your ads and your church budget is happy. And if you just give Facebook $1, they're not going to pay much attention to you, okay? So you have to set up the spending right. And then not only that, the targeting, the retargeting, okay? If you keep showing the same ad to someone 7 times, they're going to be turned off. And then when they do see an ad, they're going to ignore you. Ignoring is worse than not seeing you at all. Okay, so how do you actually set up your ad to appear someone in a fresh way, in a relatable way? And if that doesn't work, how do you show it to them again in a different context? Maybe they don't feel like they need purpose in life. Maybe they need community. So if they don't pay attention to our purpose ad, maybe they'll pay attention to our community ad. Maybe they don't need community. They're happy where they are in life. They're happy with their friendships in life. They're happy with their purpose in life. But maybe they're just not, maybe something else is keeping them up at night. And so, instead of showing the same ad 20,000 times to the same person, maybe you can revisit what it looks like to actually speak to that person in a relevant way, get them to take a next step so they can actually engage with you to hear the gospel. Okay. That's why Facebook ads don't work for churches really, is because you just haven't taken the right time to set it up properly. It's like someone planting a church and then wondering where everyone is when you didn't do any effort to build a launch team, to even just start with your family and invite them over to your house. You planted a church. You're like, I'm going to start a church here. And then you wonder why no one's showing up, because you haven't put in the actual legwork to properly set it up to find success. So at this point, you got two choices here. You can just, again, keep a hold of that comfort blanket. Facebook ads suck. They're not for us. They don't work. They're a waste of church money. I was smarter, which is honestly pretty selfish. Or you can actually use the platform for good, the correct way. That makes it less expensive. I was going to say more inexpensive, but it makes it more inexpensive. Does that make sense? Can I say that? For your church? It reaches more people. It's more relevant to them. It actually speaks to them, and you will actually see people coming to your church as a result. So instead of sitting there and wondering, oh, the 40,000 people that are passing by our sign, I hope they remember us. I hope they saw us. Don't give them another sign to pass by and ignore. Let's give them actually something to act upon and a reason to care about your church.